Broaches 1-1 is the series. Destiny changing his color every time, forcing me to go down there and fix the overlay. Damn you, Destiny, even trolling unintentionally. So we're going to have a Zerg Random versus Zerg Protoss. What will Power Random?
Well, it looks like first off, Guns and Broaches are spawning in the northwestern positions with Minigun as the blue Protoss and Destiny as the yellow Zerg. And then in the south, it looks like Power did go ahead spawn as Protoss using the red color, so it will actually be a mirror matchup here. And then, of course, PowerTech spawning as the pink Zerg. And this is going to be cross positions. I don't think we actually saw any games on this map of cross positions, so I think that should actually definitely come into effect. I mean, when you spawn close positions, it's kind of harder to expand, and this should make it a little bit easier if you grab one of these zone locked towers and then just turtle up by the gold base.
Yeah, and those gold bases are going to be almost as accessible as those outside non-rocked natural bases, normal bases, blue mineral bases. Just because they are in the cross positions, they won't really have to fight for them too much. And already we are seeing an early scout from Minigun. You really want to scout that random race. You want to make sure they're not doing any kind of cheese, proxy gateways, stuff like that. And they scouted the wrong location there, but he's moving on to the right one.
Yeah, won't be long here, and I'm sure he'll be relieved to see this pylon is in the main base. You know, nothing too funky going down. Just going to be a 13 gateway, and Minigun not throwing down his gate quite yet. Looks like he might even be building this. I guess that's a 13 gate as well. He just lost a little bit of money from that early scout, of course, but definitely money well spent because he's going to be able to get in here and even actually, he might even be able to actually block the hatchery first from PowerTech. It's going to be close. Doesn't look like, oh, yeah, he's actually going to get it. And that's a nice little bonus, and PowerTech really wants to go hatchery first. He's bringing an extra 2 drones here to take this out, and Minigun's going to laugh at him and build a pylon.
Pylon is down. PowerTech looks like he just wants to beat away at that. So a lot of times Zerg players will just submit. They'll send their drones back. They'll get their spawning pool, get some lings, and then bust it down. But PowerTech is going to get his pool and just probably save up. Okay, he is going to pull his drones back, so scratch that. He gets the pylon down to 200 and pulls back. And you know, this is a mirror match, but already we're seeing a difference in strategies. And I want to mention that Power is not walling off their choke. Now, do you think this is dangerous against the Zerg Protoss?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's always kind of in your best interest to wall off, but I feel like they probably aren't too likely to get punished by it just because of the style that Minigun and Destiny have really been showing, and they might be taking that into account.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. Destiny Minigun, sometimes Destiny will go his 11 pull, but that's more of a safety thing. He tends to macro up after that, so I don't expect any fast rush. And we have some teamwork going on down here. No, not some teamwork, some gas stealing from Minigun. I thought the other person's extractor, the teammate's extractor, was going down, but it was actually a simulator, so that's going to be annoying, and that's going to force Power into a lot more zealots and stalkers and less sentries.
And Minigun actually is going to see these 3 additional gateways, or not Minigun, Destiny with his 2 links here, sees the 3 additional gateways, so they kind of know exactly what is coming in the 4 gate here. It might be just a 4 gate with speedlings, just heavy aggression style, and that gas skill, I really love that choice. I think Minigun's thinking about his last game on this map, how he was locked into one base as the Protoss player with the Zerg ally. He was hugely starved for gas the entire time, so he says, you know what, I'm going to go and make it even worse for my opponent here. The lings from PowerTech going to be able to clean this up, but this is also revealing just how many lings PowerTech has, so, Team Guns and Broaches here are very much in the know right now.
Yep, and once again, if you're a Zerg player and you're getting that many lings, you're going to be behind on harvesters, and we can see PowerTech sitting at 16 compared to the other Zerg player, Destiny's 19. Destiny with that Roach Warren, and PowerTech looks like he is producing his own, so it seems like lings haven't really seen a lot of play in any Zerg 2v2 games. They've been sticking with Roaches even when they're not against a Terran opponent. It's kind of unusual. I'm used to seeing a lot of lings.
Yeah, very interesting. Even on some of the maps that aren't shared bases, like if it's shared bases, you got a mutual wall off. It makes a lot of sense, but on some of the maps without shared bases, it's just not the case. And ooh, look at this, we actually have a pretty fast second base coming out from Power here. And Destiny's Overlord is actually not going to be able to see that at all. I think he's more trying to scout out the main with that Overlord on the far right there. So, I mean, they've got no map control. Like you said, he's not going for lings at all. PowerTech has all the lings, so it's going to be difficult to scout this, and they might, as a matter of fact, fall behind in terms of the economy gain here.
Yeah, and you're right, Destiny's Overlord just kind of checking out the back. They have to assume that there's an expansion in the bottom rights. So maybe a bit unusual for him to move that Overlord down there. It's not really necessary. Maybe he'll fly it into Power's main, try to see what Power's doing there. Maybe he wants to Nidus, I don't really know. But that Overlord has been selected several times by Destiny, so he's definitely keeping track of it. And maybe just trying to check the saturation, see if ProTech has many units, and maybe they want to attack. I don't know what they want to do.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, there's not much to scout in terms of Power's main, because they know they did a gas skill. They saw him adding 3 additional gateways, so his gas income has been kind of crippled. So it's like, how fast can this guy really tech? But like you said, if they can get in here and see how many drones ProTech actually has, that's actually a ton of information to know that he's not just sitting in his main and massing up roaches and they're just going to try and catch their opponents off guard or something like that.
Yeah, 2 evolution chambers coming down for ProTech. Looks like he is committed to roaches. Likely going to see some range and some armor from those, as well as roach speed immediately. Maybe some kind of roach timing attack. But again, they have to attack before the infestors and before the colossi come out. If they don't, it's just going to be a giant mess like we saw last game. 16 colossi, not something you want to fight ever under any circumstances.
No. No. It's a little bit harder to get a ton of bases on this map, so they're not, and I mean they're not Zerg as well, which is definitely going to be working pretty well for them. And Minigun has an observer right now. Looks like this is actually just heading towards the main bases. He really needs to just scout that second base. I think they'll have some choice words when they scout that and actually see how many minerals have been mined there.
And some mutiny already going on. Destiny blowing down that pylon, looking for any excuse to take out some of Minigun's buildings, and he had a good one. It was walling off his poor little roaches. They're going to move on over, destroy those rocks, or not destroy those rocks, take out the Zergling at the watchtower, and now go back to work on those rocks, I expect. There they go. And Destiny, or Minigun, producing those Colossi, Destiny producing those Infestors, for the Pathogen Glands I expect to start pretty soon anyway. He's actually got an abundance of minerals. Perhaps we'll be sending some of those over to Minigun. There go the Pathogen Glands, and it looks like this time around we are seeing some more Colossi from Power as well, so they realize how good they are and they're going to make some of their own.
Yeah, Power already actually double producing Colossus. He's even got a 3rd queued up and he's getting Thermal Lance. Do you think he's being fed right now, or do you think this is just, he's cut all gateway production here? I
think he has cut a lot of gateway production. I don't think he's being fed. Will he be fed? Possibly, but he has his second base up, and I'm not a toss player. I'm not sure, depending on Chrono Boost, if you can fund 2 Robo Bays off 2 base, but he's going to have a lot of Colossi regardless.
Yeah, they are going to have the Colossus advantage, I think, for sure. Minigun, he's just sitting on 1, and he's actually not, constantly producing from it. He does have 2 Colossus that, though, hasn't thrown down his Nexus even quite yet, so they're not really in the best of shape here, but Destiny does have 4 Infestors in production, and that is the money unit, and it looks like they're going to be out just in the nick of time to deal with what looks like a very scary Roach Colossus push coming out here that might even have 4 Colossus if they wait for these 2 that are about to pop out.
Yeah, Thermal Lance is almost done for those Colossi, and some forward pylons being thrown down by Power, a couple of them actually. Hack, ProTech sending in some roaches, scouting out this base, making sure nothing fishy is happening, and he will burrow 1 roach, denying that expansion. He's going to have to send over an observer to take out that roach if Minigun wants to try for a 3rd base, and they definitely have the Colossus advantage. There is no Neuroparasite on those Infestors, so he's going to have to rely solely on fungal growth, and if those roaches clump like they are now, that could work.
Those are pretty clumped up roaches right there, but 1 Infestor immediately dying. A fungal does go down, more fungals going down. The Colossus are just kind of doing the old world at war thing here. A lot of force fields going down as well, and this is just looking like a very close engagement, but the Colossus of Minigun actually falling pretty fast, and it looks like they might get overrun.
Just too many Colossi, man. Just too many Colossi. Those units are so good. 5 kills, 2 kills, 3 kills, and 4 kills. Double digits in the kills combined, and this is so one-sided. That double Robo Facility with that early Protoss expansion was too much. Root Destiny Jing, Minigun GGing, and Team ProTech takes the series 2-1.
Once again, man, they took him out the last PTSL and they did it again. I think that really all came down to that expansion. Like you said, if you don't get Speedlings, you've got no control on the map. You can't really do any scouting.